moment. Here we go.
Welcome to the Long Distance Playbook. Today is the 9th of May. Man, we got action-packed this week. So it's been busy all over the place. However, Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good. Happy to see you. I'm happy to see you.
See you too. Welcome back.
Yeah, man. You know, daddy duties don't stop. So you know how that goes.
No, it don't. Matter of fact, that takes precedence, don't it?
Yep.
So Jay said he ain't gonna be able to join us. He said maybe next week. So
yep.
We'll see what happens next week. Chris, he's probably busy doing his stuff too. So shout out to both of them. Hope they're safe and well and doing what they need to do.
Absolutely.
And hopefully they join us soon again.
Yep.
So
until then, we'll hold it down.
Absolutely. We're going to hold it down today. So we're going to start the show like we always do with honors of the week, right? It's an unfortunate honor this week. Nobody's become a champion during this past week. However, the one bad news is Ted Turner passed away this past week at the age of 87. Passed on the 6th of May. If you don't know who Ted Turner is and you're a sports fan, you probably have been living under a rock.
A boulder. Ted Turner, Turner Sports, all that.
Look, he changed a lot of the way sports is viewed today on TV and stuff. So he definitely paved that path. And we give our condolences to his friends, his family, and his loved ones. Because no matter how old or how young, it's always sad to lose somebody.
No doubt.
So, that was our honor of the week. Now, we're going to move along. Jeff, this is your little segment.
Okay.
We're going to hit the red card report.
All right. Okay. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on in the soccer world or the football world, as you, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're gonna go through it. So first and foremost, I'm gonna talk about the Premier League. A lot of stuff going on in the past couple weeks. Man City walked down Arsenal, had tied them as of last weekend, and then fell apart this week as they tied Everton 3-3 to give Arsenal the edge in the Premier League race again. I can't see Arsenal slipping up now between now and the end of the season. Only 3 games left. And City has to win their game in hand as well. So it may be time for Arsenal to finally win a championship. I don't believe they've won the league since 2006. I think it's been 20 years. And we'll talk about what other things Arsenal have accomplished in the past week as well. But you see right now, if you look at the right, you look at the Premier League table, you see Arsenal hit on 5 points. Even if City wins their game in hand, they're still down by 2. So it is completely in Arsenal's hands to win the league. You'll also see who's already qualified for the Champions League: Arsenal, Man City, and Man United. So that's goodness for them. Liverpool hanging in there. Aston Villa slumping towards the end of the season. Then you see teams like Bournemouth and Brentford and Brighton. And we'll talk about my Chelsea a little bit later. But still a lot to play for in terms of Champions League. Champions League, and then relegation. Now we already have 2 teams that are already gone. It's really going to come down to Tottenham and West Ham. And West Ham lost to give, and Tottenham has finally won a couple games. There was a crazy stat that from the beginning of the year, and this is before last week, Tottenham had won as many games at home in their stadium as who was the quarterback for the Eagles back in the day? Just the
Donovan McNabb.
Nope, after him, they gave him a bunch of money, and then when Jalen Hurts came, they cut him. Oh, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz.
Tottenham had won as many home games as Carson Wentz had in the space of like 200 days. That's crazy because, again, Carson Wentz, one, is not a starter. Two, he plays in the NFL. Three, they only play one game over in England a year. And he had as many home wins as Tottenham had. That's how poorly they had performed. But brought in a new coach, De Zerbi. He knows the Premier League, had a lot of success at Brighton, did a little stint over in France, did a good job there, decent job there. Back at Tottenham now. So it's going to become down to Tottenham and West Ham. Two big teams, two big clubs, two teams with huge stadiums. But Tottenham's always been seen as a top six team. And their running is kind of tough. So it'll be interesting to see. I highlighted the games that I think are the games of the week to watch. Liverpool and Chelsea already played. They tied 1-1. But Man City versus Brentford today, because City's got to win in order to keep pressure on Arsenal. And Brentford sometimes can give problems to top six teams. Tomorrow, it's West Ham and Arsenal. Arsenal needs to win to continue to set the pace on winning the league. West Ham needs to win to get up from the relegation areas. So big game for both teams. And then Monday, Tottenham plays Leeds. Tottenham, again, has to continue to win to get away from the relegation zone. Usually in the Premier League, 42 points is the number that you need to hit in order to avoid relegation. So usually a race to that every year, but interesting. We'll see what goes on there for the remainder of the season. Again, 3 games left, so a lot that can happen in a short period of time. Over in Italy, in Serie A, so Inter's already won. So not much to see there. Now it's really a battle for 2, 3, and 4. You see Napoli, AC Milan, and Juventus there. Roma's still in the hunt. Como, unfortunately, has slipped up a little bit lately. Really, really small team, but they've had a fantastic season. The game of the day to me is Juventus versus Lecce. Lecce needs to win in order to secure their secure next season in Serie A because they're right close to the relegation zone. And Juventus needs to win to continue to be in one of the Champions League spots. And we've spoken in previous weeks about how much money is involved with Champions League. So really big for them to continue to try to get back to their ways. Juventus, once upon a time, was that dominant force in Italy. In the Bundesliga, in the Bayern Munich Invitational, again, Bayern Munich has already won, clearly. Now it's more of, hey, Borussia Dortmund's qualified for Champions League. You got a couple other games here that I've highlighted that I think are the ones to watch. Stuttgart versus Bayer Leverkusen. So both teams trying to get into Champions League. So Leverkusen currently occupies 4th position, Stuttgart 5th. So I think that's probably the best game to watch this week because as you can tell, both have 58 points, and the amount of money every team wants to be able to get in the Champions League so they can get the money that they need and they can recruit the players that they want. So a lot going on there. And then Sunday is FC Cologne versus FC Heidenheim. And Heidenheim, again, bottom of the league, but they have 2 games left to play. Heidenheim has to win or they will be relegated, mathematically relegated. So that's the game of the week for me, or the game for Sunday to pay attention. Moving on to La Liga. Barcelona, top of the table with a win this week. They will clinch another La Liga championship. Um, this one really didn't pan out to be what everyone thought it was going to be. We thought we'd have a much better challenge from Atletico Madrid, but we definitely thought that Real Madrid would do much better. But things went bottoms up. Got rid of Xavi Alonso midway through the season. Their backup coach or their replacement coach, ex-player Abiola, he's not the level that should be coaching at Real Madrid. So then, games of the week or for Saturday: Elche versus Alaves. Alaves playing; they have to win to try to avoid relegation. So that's going to be a big game for them. Elche is only 2 points ahead, so they need to win to avoid getting into that relegation area as well. Because if you look at the chart on the right, there's only 3 points that separate team 12 to team 19. So there's a whole bunch to play for. And obviously, game of the day, game of the week, game of the weekend, regardless of what league, is El Clasico. You got Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be some star players are going to be missing from this one. Rafinha hurt, Lamine Yamal hurt, Mbappe hurt, Valverde hurt. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So missing some of the star power, but it's El Clasico, so that is always a game to watch. If you don't see any other game this weekend, that's the game you tune in to watch. And what would be sweeter for Barcelona to win win La Liga by beating Real Madrid, arch rivals, at an El Clasico? So a lot to be seen, a lot to play for here. All right. During the week, we had our Champions League semifinal games. So their second leg. So PSG advanced to the finals. They beat Bayern Munich 6-5 on aggregate. Second game was kind of slow, 1-1 draw. Really, PSG was up 1-0. Bayern Munich scored in the 4th minute of extra time. But the first leg was the key leg. That 5-4 game was that's probably the best game I've seen all season. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Very exciting. The amount of individual talent that was on the field in display at that time was top notch. Absolutely. So, and then on the other side, Arsenal beat Atletico Madrid 1-0, so they advance on aggregate 2-1, which brings the finals to PSG versus Arsenal, which will be played Saturday, May 30th. PSG looking to be back-to-back Champions League champions, which would be first time since I think Real Madrid, probably a decade or so ago. So that's huge for them. My money is on PSG on this one, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure the bookies are saying that as well. Put your money on PSG. Okay, MLS. So MLS has started. We are probably about a third of the way through the season. Just looking at the conferences, and Eastern Conference, Nashville seems to be the team to beat. They've started extremely well. Pairing off, I think they had a pretty good season last year as well. But it's still a long ways to play, or a lot to play for. So in the Western Conference, though, and well, before I move from the Eastern Conference, Inter Miami is obviously the most notable team, the team that everyone knows because Lionel Messi plays there. They had a crazy game this past week where they were up 3-0 in Orlando City and then let Orlando City score 4 unanswered goals and they lost. That's kind of crazy. But again, that just shows you Orlando City's in 13th, Inter's in 3rd. It doesn't matter on any given day. So, and in the Western Conference, San Jose has played extremely well, but my favorite team over in the Western Conference is Vancouver Whitecaps. I think they have a lot of the coaching. I love the way they play. They seem to have the right pieces in the right places, and have a personal friend that plays there, so I'm biased. All right, and then the games. So games for today for me: San Jose versus Vancouver. That's number 1 versus number 2 in the Western Conference. So that is definitely the game from an MLS perspective to watch for me. And then tomorrow it's LAFC versus Houston Dynamo. LAFC trying to ascend to the top of the league where they were for a period of years, only a handful of years ago. So that should be the game that if I tune in on Sunday to watch, that would be who I watch. Okay, items of interest. All right, so SBT, like I said, Alex Ferguson, squeaky butt time because it's the end of the year. Everyone getting tight. Champions League qualification and teams fighting relegation. Like those are the teams that you don't want to play. And more so than anything, you don't want to play teams fighting relegation. You will get their best game against you. A team that's been trashed, a team that you've trounced by 6 goals, when they're fighting relegation towards the end of the season, will play their best game ever. That's going to be those are the two teams. Those are the two types of teams you don't want to play. And then red card report recipients. So this is a little new. I'm gonna talk about things that people, in my opinion, they deserve a red card for. First one is Federico Valverde and Aurelien Tchouameni. So they're both Real Madrid players. Apparently, they had a practice this week. Tchouameni went in on a hard with a bad tackle on Valverde. He got upset about it. You know, a little fisticuffs in practice, a little pushing and shoving and stuff. That happens. And it continued throughout the practice. And then it continued into the dressing room. Well, apparently it kept on going back and forth. And finally, Tchouameni, he apologized. And he's like, I just want peace. I just want peace. Cool. Well, then the next practice, as soon as practice started, Valverde came in with a couple of flying tackles, bad tackles on Tchouameni, trying to get his payback. Well, there you go. Practice escalates again, fisticuffs again. They're getting into it back and forth, back and forth. Keeps going throughout all practice. Keeps going back into the locker room. And then what I'm hearing is Tchouameni decided enough is enough. He done punched Valverde. Valverde fell, hit the ground, bounced his head off the ground, had a concussion, had to go to the hospital. All of this before their biggest game of the season against their biggest rival, Barcelona. So both players have been fined 500,000 euros apiece because of what took place. Now, Tchouameni's going to get fined. He's going to get fined because he's the one who punched Valverde. In order for Valverde to get fined the same amount, considering he's the one who got dropped, had his head bounce off the ground like a basketball, he was the instigator. He was the initiator. And this just shows that Real Madrid doesn't have the right coach in place because this stuff doesn't you don't have Fight Club at Real Madrid, especially right before Barcelona, because you have that type of coach that can demand from the players what they expect. And you don't expect 2 of your better players to be fighting each other where one gets sent to the hospital right before El Clasico. So $500,000 a piece. Red cards for both of them. That's just y'all losing the plot. And I like Tchouameni. I like him a lot. He was on The Pivot. If y'all haven't seen it, it's a great interview with him. This is just a bad look. Red card. Unfortunately, got to give it to my boys, Chelsea. They went from, I think, 4th in the league, chasing Champions League place. Now we are 9th or 10th, and we probably won't even qualify for Europe. I'm going to give that all to Blueco, to the owners, to the sporting directors. They've completely changed the culture of the club where we bought finished product players, big name players who played big in big games. And now all we're doing is buying young players that we can turn around and sell. It is terrible. It's hard being a Chelsea fan right about now. Very hard, very difficult. So red card to them. Red card to Man City. After walking Arsenal down, having been down 9 points at one point, and walking them down all the way to the end of the season, to slip up against Everton, who is in the bottom half of the league, to tie and give the impetus back to Arsenal to win the league, I can't even make sense of that. Can't even make sense of that. You do all the hard work, and then when you get to where you need to go, you fall apart. Red card to them. And then finally, red card to the MLS. And here's why. I was going through some couple of the rosters and I was looking at some of the players. And what I'm finding is only about a third of every team's roster makeup are players from Canada or United States. To me, that's terrible. You're not providing pathways for US players to be able to grow and develop here, right? Everyone has a league. When I moved over in England, they actually had a rule where you were only allowed to play three players that were non UK players. They were doing that on purpose. They wanted to be able to provide pathways for Englishmen to grow and play football, but because they knew that would ultimately positively impact their national team. You can't do that with the US players because there's not as many gateways, there's not as many pathways, because you have 2/3 of every roster filled with players from a bunch of different countries who maybe they are slightly better than the US talent, but that's because they're being provided with opportunities to play at a higher level. And those players that you're bringing in, they're blocking all the avenues for young players, young US players, whether they're coming out of college or coming from academies, to be able to grow and develop by playing in a professional league in a professional environment with the practicing and the amount of games week in, week out. And we wonder why our US team hasn't gotten any better. That's why right there. So a huge red card for the MLS. And that's all I have for the red card report today.
All right, Jeff, that was quite a mouthful. That's quite a bit. I love I like your pick there for PSG in the Champions League. But my question for you, you said put my money on PSG.
Yep.
But if the bookies are picking PSG, then I don't have and I put my money on PSG.
Pick them to win by at least 2 goals then.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, because if I pick them to win and everybody else is picking them to win, I ain't going to win a whole lot.
Hey, pick them to win by 2 goals.
Okay. You think they're going to beat Arsenal like that?
Yeah. Like, okay. Arsenal, one of two things going to happen to them. They're either going to, as they call it, park the bus, where they're going to put everyone deep behind the ball and try to get PSG on the counter. Yeah. Where Arsenal can be dangerous is on free kicks and like corners, set pieces.
Okay.
They've scored more goals than any other team off of set pieces, especially corners. That being said, I don't see them having the ball in that area for too much time. So, if PSG scores first, at some point Arsenal's going to have to come out of that shell, and PSG can take advantage of that space behind it. So I got PSG by 2 goals or more.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you, I was watching those games and both was intense, right? Especially at the end.
Yeah. There's 1 goal in it. There's 1 goal in it. So everyone's like, hey, it's all go. Pull the goalkeeper. He's got to go up on corners and everything else. That's it. It's like hockey. It's like, hey, pull the keeper. Hey, why is the goalkeeper up and take on a corner? Because the end of the games, that's what it is.
Yeah. Look, I thought there was going to be some fist thrown.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't. Thank gosh.
Well, I didn't get into that. They had some fist thrown in a couple Brazilian league games.
Oh.
Fist thrown, kicks, all sorts of stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, like 17 red cards in 1 game.
Wow. I will say one thing. Just to point it out, right? Neuer, the goalie for Bayern Munich.
Yep.
I had to give him class.
He's fantastic.
Because if you saw at the beginning of that game with PSG, Bayern Munich fans were throwing trash and stuff on the field, and the official was going to come over there, and delay the game and get it cleaned up and everything. And Neuer was like, he stopped the official, and he went over there and got the trash and everything off the field and told the fans not to throw any more trash on the field. I respect that.
Absolutely. And he's been at Bayern for so long. I'm glad they extended to him for another year, because even at his age, the man, one, he's class and on and off the field, and two, he's still a great keeper. So,
yes. So I mean, even if you have a young keeper that is better than him,
yep.
it's always good to have that veteran leadership in the locker room.
You're gonna have to show me a young keeper better than him.
Right.
At his age, I still
know.
think he's probably top 5 in the world.
Right. I mean, I don't have one, but I'm saying if there is one,
yep,
then yeah, you still keep him in there for veteran leadership. So
absolutely. Yep.
Appreciate you on that report there, Jeff.
Yeah, man.
All right. We're gonna move along a little bit. And we got some NHL playoffs going on. Man, it has been extraordinary. Okay. You got Colorado right now leading 2-0 in this series. That is crazy. Okay. You have the Vegas Knights. They are beating the Anaheim Ducks 2-1 in the series. And now the Sabres, they're the Buffalo Sabres series and the Montreal Canadiens, because somebody's lightning.
Hey, come on. How do you outshoot someone 29-9 and lose 2-1? That was garbage, man. I watched that game. I was tight.
But the Sabres and Canadian series is tied 1-1 right now. And then you have the Carolina Hurricanes. They are up 3-0 on the Flyers. They are looking to sweep this series. We all know sweeping a series can do one. It can be beneficial and it can also backfire, right, Jeff? We know that the benefit part is players continue to get healthy, right? Injuries and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
The downfall is you can start building a little rust.
Get out of rhythm.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting to see if Carolina does sweep Philly. And if they do, it's going to be interesting to see how that translates to the third round.
Yep.
Right, to the conference finals. Let's see. I mean, look, the next games, we got games tonight. So Colorado is going to play tonight, and then it looks like Carolina is playing tonight as well. So that series could end tonight. We'll see, right? It's in Philly, so it's not going to be an easy matchup.
Yeah, and the rankings mean nothing in the NHL once you get to the playoffs. Like whoever was top dog throughout the year means absolutely nothing. There's no respect on it whatsoever. So, absolutely. And especially with the trades that they can do right before the trade deadline, I was like, whoa, hey, let me go ahead and get rid of this star player. I don't need his salary cap. We'll just give him to a contender. We're not going to make any noise. We'll build for next year. I'm like, dang, that's different. You usually don't see that in many other leagues. So it's exciting. It's exciting until you outshoot someone 29-9 and still lose.
Well,
that was trash.
It's going to be interesting to see if Minnesota can get back into this with Colorado, right? Because during the regular season, they split the season series 2-2. So it shows that Minnesota can win, but it's also regular season, and there's a different tempo too, right?
Yeah,
regular season to playoffs.
Yep.
The one that's surprising me is Anaheim and Vegas. When they played in the regular season, Anaheim won all 3 games. 3-0 against Vegas. Now they are down 2-1. So
what's up, Mighty Ducks? Come on, man.
That hole.
I've watched the movie. What's up, Mighty Ducks? What are we gonna do? My kids were young once upon a time.
Absolutely. And then the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens, during the regular season. They split that series 2-2, and that right now the series is 1-1. So it looks like they're pretty equal, at least in that retrospect, right? And here's why I say on the next one, we'll see if Philly can steal one. Because when Carolina and Philadelphia played in the regular season, Carolina won the series 3-1.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
So can Philly sneak out a game? I mean, you at least hope they do. If you're a Flyers fan, you're begging for it right now.
Right.
So
one game at a time.
Yeah.
All I got to do is win one, and we can go from there.
I'm still going to go with. Have you made any picks on the hockey, or no?
No, I was out.
Okay, you was out. So
but I'm already disqualified. I'd have gone with the Lightning. So
what? Oh, I need to update the slide, but that's fine. But we got Colorado, Minnesota. Who are you taking on that?
I picked Colorado just because, and this is not from what I know. It's from what I knew back in the day when like Joe Saki, those types of players played with Colorado. When they built the team, they really built a very solid team. So,
all right, and Vegas and Anaheim.
Well, didn't you say it's 3-0? How?
No. Vegas and Anaheim was 2-0.
I like Vegas. I like teams in Vegas. If I won like the $1 billion lotto, I would purchase an MLS franchise in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
One, because I'm always going to make money. Because look, you're going to have such a transient atmosphere that people are going to be like, "Oh, what's there to do? Oh, hey, there's an MLS game. Let's do that." I just think it'd be a great place to actually build a franchise there.
Okay. And then Buffalo and Montreal?
I'm going Montreal since they beat my Lightning. I got to roll with them.
I'm going with them too. I know a couple of my viewers they're going to go for the Buffalo Sabres there, but it is okay.
Yeah.
And then Carolina and Philadelphia.
Carolina's got that wrap. I was surprised that with the Philly Penguins series, I'm glad Penguins made it respectful in the end. Right. But I feel like Philly had to fight too hard to get out of that with where they were in the series.
Absolutely.
So
they were up 3-0.
And to their credit, Penguins made it interesting. So yeah. So I think they may have had to. They may have done a little bit had to do too much. So I think gentleman's sweep 4-1.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna move to our next one, the NBA playoffs. We are officially in the second round. Second round is underway. It is hot, right? People better pay attention because tempers are flaring over in the OKC and LA series.
Rightfully so.
There's some yes and some no. I'll say that. So, context: Oklahoma City during the regular season won that series 4-0. So right now they lead the series 2-0. Game 3 is tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out because now they're going to be back in LA.
It's not going to matter. This is a sweep. This was a sweep beforehand. So I picked Lakers to beat Houston, even though everyone else said, "Oh, Houston's got 5 of the best 6 players in this." Blah blah blah. Lakers have a better team. LeBron knows how to play in the playoffs. He knows how to win. I knew they were going to win that game, but I knew they were going to get swept by the Thunder. The Thunder have better players than the Lakers do. I mean, that's just point blank, period. They have better players than the Lakers. Well, that was always going to be a sweep. My problem
is say that Oklahoma City has got better players, I would
absolutely
say
do.
they do on this team, right? Because let's be honest, right? We've seen players, they'll thrive on one team, and if you take them off another team and put them on there, they're not the same player.
Yes, I'll
Agreed?
agree with that. I agree with that. But I'm just saying, if you go player for player and how they perform given the team
Mhm.
that they are on,
Right.
this wasn't even a matchup, in my opinion. That's why I called it a sweep.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
I'll be surprised if
You
the
know,
Lakers win a game, and I don't pick them to win a single.
fair
This
enough.
is
Fair
this
enough.
is come on out to the come on out behind the woodshed, take your whooping.
Understood.
Even with the Lakers being upset about the refs and the foul calls, which I agree
Mhm.
with them on that, it doesn't matter. They still gonna lose to Oklahoma City. That's just
Okay.
fact.
Well, question for you.
Yeah.
Since Oklahoma's in the lead, right?
Yep.
Who on Oklahoma needs to either step up or maintain so Oklahoma doesn't falter?
Hmm.
Is it Shea or is it Chet that needs to
Uh,
maintain?
I can't say it's Shea because Shea does what Shea does, and no one has an answer for Shea.
Right, but I'm saying
Um,
like, he
maybe it's
can't
Lou.
afford to
I'm
have
gonna
a
say
bad game.
nah, they got so much around him he can't have a bad game. I'm gonna say
Okay,
Lou Dort
okay,
because he does all the dirty work and he does all the hard defensive matchups. If he can continue to do that without getting in foul trouble, because the refs haven't been calling those calls, but if he
right,
continue to do that, LeBron, AR, they're not going to be able to get off and get hot and maybe bring the Lakers to win a game that weren't thinking they were going to. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Lou Dort.
okay. All right. I think Chet Holmgren, but he's got to continue to give that dominance performance. I think if Chet stumbles, uh, it's going to put a lot more work on Shea. So I think Chet's to me the key factor.
Okay.
Who on the Lakers do you think, like I said, needs to either continue their performance or needs to step up um, to for LA to either win a game or even get back into the series?
Lakers. I'm going to say AR.
Yeah,
Reason being is first game he came back, he was terrible, terrible.
yeah.
I guess the way I'm looking at him right now is second game came back, put up 30 plus, right? Okay, we're good with that. That's what we're coming to expect from him. But he put up 31 and was minus 20, his plus minus. Want to know
Mhm.
why? Because whoever he's a defensive liability on the other side of the court. It doesn't matter. This is what other teams used to do when they played Golden State. When you saw, especially like when you saw like Cleveland play Golden State back in the 2016, 15, 16 timeframe,
Yeah.
they would go looking for pick and roll situations to put Steph Curry on defense. Well, this is what teams do with Austin Reeves because he can't, man. Hey, he he can't cover. He cannot play defense. He can't sit. He can't move laterally. He's a cone. He's a cone. And that's why you put up 31 points. You shoot fantastically from the floor.
All right.
Um, 50% from three-point line, 80% from the free throw line, and you're minus 20, the worst on the entire Lakers team because defensively he is horrible. He needs to step up. It can't just be on the offensive side. Defensively, he has to put in the effort to step up and actually make a difference, have a positive impact.
Okay. You think it's AR? I mean, player wise, I think it's AR. But the key to me, I think JJ Redick. I think he needs to really expose his coaching right now. I got that he's got AR back, right? He's got players sitting on the bench that during the regular season when they played gave quality minutes and quality production, and now here we are in the playoffs, and they're not even seeing the court. So,
Yeah, but the bench shrinks when you get to the playoffs, right?
I got it right. I understand that part, right? But at the same time, when you've got 41-year-old LeBron James, and don't get me wrong, he's doing great, okay? But when you got 41-year-old LeBron James and he's trying to keep up in the playoffs, the pace is faster, right? And the games are more repetitive, right? You got back to back and then back, like
Yeah, it's every other day.
every other day. In the NBA season, you're not having that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to see a LeBron James take a night off in the playoffs. You're just like regular season, I got, right? And me and you and Chris and Jay, we talked about it, right? You're not going to, the day of players playing 82 games is gone. But LeBron James missing a playoff game is not going to happen. He'll still be out there. Even if they know they're going to get swept, he'll still be out there. So JJ Redick needs to start playing these players, and especially the ones that aren't producing, get them off the court and get these other bench players on there, because sometimes it lights a fire, and sometimes that fire can get going.
Here's the one thing I'm gonna ask you though. Every time LeBron goes off the court, say Lakers are down by like 4. He goes off the court for 3 minutes, they're down by double digits.
Yep.
And so if I'm JJ, what do I do? Like, how can I can't sustain this because like my man goes to sit down. He's 41. I have him sit down for 2 minutes. The lead is doubled.
Yes.
I can't have
I got it. It's something that it's hard as a coach, right? But it's something that he as a coach has got to figure out. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
If you have to use your whole bench, you use it. Right? Because if not, guess what's going to happen? LA is going to go home in 4.
LA going to go home in 4 regardless.
Right, but I'm saying if he doesn't make changes, they're really going to go home. So, all right, moving on. Next series, right? We got San Antonio and Minnesota. So this is a little interesting one because Minnesota in the regular season beat San Antonio 2 times, two out of the 3 times. So the series is currently flip-flopped, where San Antonio has beaten Minnesota twice in this series. And Minnesota's only won once. So I'm going to propose the same questions to you, Jay or Jeff. Who on Minnesota needs to step up or maintain in order for them to stay in the series, get back into it, right? Or win the series?
To step up to me, it's got to be Julius Randle. Anthony Adams, Ant-Man going to do what Ant-Man needs to do, right? He'll put forth the effort. He'll put forth the work on both ends of the court. Julius Randle was a 1 at one point in his career with the Lakers. And then he became the 2 option with like the Knicks. 12 points? 12 points ain't going to get it. Not against a Spurs team who I'm picking to come out of the West.
Right.
So for me, he has to play better. Like 12-6 last night. That's not good enough. Like that's putting way too much pressure on Anthony Edwards, who's 75-80% because of the hyperextension of his knee from the last series. So I just to me, it's Julius Randle. Step up, help your guy.
Look, I agree 100%. Julius Randle. But however, I'm going to throw you another name out there.
Yep.
I think Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
And here's why. Because Gobert was very, very pivotal in that Nuggets series.
Mm-hmm.
And then his numbers have drastically dropped from that Nuggets series down to the San Antonio series. And I'm not talking about just his points. I'm talking about rebounds, everything. So I think both Gobert and Julius Randle gotta help Anthony Edwards. And this is a team that didn't even know if Anthony Edwards was gonna be able to play in this series.
Right.
So if Anthony Edwards hadn't have played, Minnesota wouldn't have won a game so far. Because that 17 points from Ant-Man for game one, everybody was like, oh, okay, he's back.
Nah.
He came off the bench and accepted the role.
Yep.
So, all right. Same question.
It's Victor Wembanyama. As much as I'd like to say, because I like De'Aaron Fox, he has to continue. When he plays like he played last night, it's a wrap. I don't care what the T Wolves do. It doesn't matter. The dude is a freak. When he plays inside out, that's the biggest thing I want to see from him. If he's out behind the 3-point line and the ball swings real fast and he's got an open jumper, take that. But don't sit there and get the ball in the block and then do a couple dribbles into a step back three. My man, you are 7'15". I don't want to see that from you. You're already there, bruh. Give him that work down low. And for me, I felt last night, I felt like he was more inside out. And that's why he shot high percentage, but that's all. I also didn't see him do a lot of step back threes or threes off a crossover. Like, that's what 6'5" players do, not 7'5" players do. So, yeah, no, for me, yeah, Victor Wembanyama. If he plays like he did last night, it's a wrap.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you, but I'm going to add to it, right? Wembanyama definitely has to keep maintaining what he's doing, right? But De'Aaron Fox and all the others, right? Stephon Castle, they have to do what they did, right? 15, 17. Those points are pivotal, right? Because it shows that they're still involved in the game.
Yep.
And then can't everybody just focus on Wembanyama? They have to respect the other players on the Spurs as well, right?
Yep.
So absolutely, Wembanyama has to do what he needs to do, but the role players have to step up and I wouldn't say step up, just maintain what they're doing.
So
go ahead.
I just sent you a message. I got to jump, but what I'm gonna say, and it's gonna be on record. Spurs coming out of the West. They're gonna beat the T-Wolves and then they're gonna beat the Thunder.
Okay.
They are the one team that will beat the Thunder and maybe 4-2. Maybe 4-2. So I'll try to jump back on in a minute. As soon as I can.
Okay. Well, I ain't got much more, so.
Okay. All right.
Well, we're gonna move on because the show continues to go. He gave us his thoughts on those teams. The next series is Detroit and Cleveland. Detroit Pistons and Cleveland Cavaliers. This is an interesting series because this series during the regular season got split 2-2, and Detroit currently leads this series 2-0. Cleveland has to find their way back in. It's not too late, but if you don't find it soon, then they're going to be down that 3-0, and that's really hard to come back. The player I think on Detroit that needs to step up or maintain, Cade Cunningham has to maintain what he's doing. But I'm going to shoot what Chris said earlier in the playoffs a couple weeks ago. Jalen Duren, he's got to really start getting something going because if he doesn't, I don't see Detroit being as successful as they could be, if that makes sense. Cleveland's got a lot of work, right? Donovan Mitchell's got to continue to stay strong. To me, the two players that have to really step up for Cleveland is Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen did great the other day, but he's got to continue to do that. And the one player that has been missing from this round, I mean, he scored 10 points in a game, and that was James Harden. James Harden has to do better. If James Harden doesn't do better, this Cleveland Cavalier team is going to go home faster than expected. All right, moving right along. We got the exciting New York Knicks versus the Philadelphia 76ers. They split the series during the regular season 2-2. But this playoffs, something has taken a hold of New York. They are on fire. They're up 3-0 on the Philadelphia 76ers. And it's not like the 76ers are really just not performing. I mean, you got Paul George still giving quality points. Joel Embiid giving quality points. Tyrese Maxey giving quality points, right? But none of them are breaking out really over that threshold of 20 points or even close to 30. And I think that's what it's going to take in order for Philadelphia to get back in this series. One of those three are going to have a huge game. VJ Edgecombe, he could have a big game as well, but that's what's going to have to take for Philadelphia to get back in this series. Now, New York, Jalen Brunson needs to continue doing what he's doing. Karl Anthony Towns' last game was kind of down, but if he can get back in there, he'll be okay. He had good rebounds. I mean, he had 12 rebounds, so he's not. I wouldn't say he's not doing what he needs to do. 7 assists, 12 rebounds, but 8 points is not going to cut it. Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to push that up a little bit. And then, of course, Mikal Bridges, huge right now in the playoffs for them. So keep a lookout on the New York Knicks. They have an opportunity to make a clean sweep of the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's going to be interesting. All right. We're going to move along a little bit. We have some NASCAR. All right. Currently, your top 5 in NASCAR is Tyler Reddick, he's in first. Denny Hamlin's in second. Chase Elliott's in third. Ryan Blaney, he dropped down from third to fourth. And then you have somebody new in the top 5, Chris Buescher. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see how things shape out. This week they're racing at Watkins Glen, New York. Beautiful road course track up there. I think the key drivers to watch this week, I'll give you multiple drivers to watch, but obviously only one's going to get to win. Keep a lookout on Tyler Reddick. I mean, he is doing things that we haven't seen since Jimmy Johnson. So just keep a lookout on that. Chase Elliott, he's always good. Kyle Larson, he tends to make a run on these type of tracks. I'm going to give you another name, Bubba Wallace. Keep a lookout for Bubba Wallace, all right? Bubba always does pretty good on this track. Another one, Daniel Suarez, okay? So there's a couple of names out there, right? Like I just mentioned. A.J. Allmendinger is a good road course winner. So any of those guys, I believe, any of those I mentioned, and I know I mentioned quite a bit, but any of the ones I just mentioned, I do believe can win the Watkins Glen. We'll go to baseball next. Baseball's in full season. Right now in the American League East, you have the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays over 500. In the American League Central, you have the Cleveland Guardians. That's it. The Cleveland Guardians. In the American League West, you have the Athletics. So, not too many teams above 500 in the American League. Now, you go to the National League, you start getting a little bit more. In the East, you have the Atlanta Braves. That's my team. In the Central, the entire Central is still above 500. However, the Cincinnati Reds are flirting with not being at 500. In the West, the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the San Diego Padres are above 500. The surprise to me is the entire National League Central being above 500. That's not very common to see an entire division right there above 500, but they're taking care of their games and they're winning them. Nothing more to really say on that. I will say, I guess one surprise is that even though there's only so many teams above 500, there's not really a single team that is at the bottom of baseball right now. You got multiple teams. They're within, I don't know, 10 games. The entire baseball league is within 10 games from the bottom to the top of the league. So, and that's not a lot of games if you think about it. I mean, I've seen where last place is 30, 40 games behind first place. So it seems like teams are starting to catch up. It's going to be an exciting baseball season. I'm seeing stories of Mike Trout getting his hitting game back. Of course, Shohei Ohtani, he's doing his thing. I saw something about the Cubs, their longest home consecutive winning streak in the past 20 seasons or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see who can stay pace and who cannot. Yeah. With that, I think that is going to close out this week's show. I want to thank Jeff for joining me and giving his red card report. Always valuable. If you're a very veteran-owned business, please, 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 please send your stuff down to this email address right here. More than welcome to advertise, announce, do whatever you want to that we need to do to help you grow your business. We also want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. So, and one last, so we want to say thank you for watching us. And if you can, catch us next Saturday. Same bad time, same bad channel. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend.